from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the National News of Rupavahini ChannelEye. I'm Dilanjali Ananda.
I'm Moin Hettianarachi, and today is the 12th of March, and here are today's headlines. Parents of the infant abandoned in train remanded. Inquiry against the OIC of Bandaravela Police. Doctors in 4 provinces set to launch a strike. Several medical officers' associations to abstain from the strike action. State Finance Minister emphasizes the importance of the assurances extended through the International Monetary Fund. Fuel prices may be reduced in April. Cyclone Freddy hammers Mozambique.
Now for those and other stories in detail. Now, the parents of the infant abandoned in the Meenagaya train have been remanded until the 15th of this month.
Meanwhile, the infant has been placed under protective care. The parents of the infant were produced before the acting Bandaravela magistrate Kenneth De Silva this afternoon by the Koslanda and Bandaravela police. Accordingly, the parents were ordered to be remanded until the 15th of this month. They will be produced to Colombo Fort courts next Wednesday. The mother of the infant had been detained at the medical examination at the Diathanal Base Hospital before being produced at the courts. The infant was discovered on the 10th in the Meenagaya Express train, which operates from Colombo Fort railway station to Batticaloa. The Colombo Fort police are conducting further investigation. Meanwhile, the IGP has instructed the Special Investigation Unit of the police headquarters to launch a probe into the Chief Inspector of the Bandaravela Police. The relevant probe has been launched against the inspector for allegedly failing to adhere to the circular issued under the instruction of the IGP on the conduct of officers when dealing with women and children. The inspector in question will be probed over his actions following the arrest and the inquiry of the mother of the infant.
Now, Government Medical Officers Association says medical officers in 4 provinces will engage in a strike action from 8 a.m. tomorrow. Dr. Haritha Aludge said that the strike will be launched against the government tax reforms. Secretary of the Government Medical Officers Association, Dr. Haritha Aludge said that the strike action will be launched in Western, Southern, Central and Eastern provinces. He said that maternity hospitals, children's hospitals, Maharagama Apeksha Hospital, renal disease treatment units, military hospitals, mental health institutions and other emergency treatment units will not be taking part in the strike action. He further said that if the government fails to address their issues by Tuesday, an all-island strike action will be launched on Wednesday.
අනිකුත් රෝහල්වල පවා හදිසි ප්‍රතිකාර කටයුතු සිදු කිරීම සඳහා සියලුම සංවිධාන කටයුතු මේ වෙනකොට සිද්ධ කරලා තියෙනවා. දැන් අඟහරුවාද දවස ඇතුළත මේ සම්බන්ධ විසඳුමක් ලැබුණ නැත්නම් බදාද දිනේ දිවයින පුරා ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන අඛණ්ඩ වෘත්තීය සමිති ක්‍රියාමාර්ගයක් ආරම්භ වීමට නියමිතයි. මේක ඉවර කරන දවසක් මේ වෙනකොට තීරණය කළා නැහැ. එතකොට channel සේවාව සහ
Medical Professionals Association convening a media briefing said that they have vehemently disapproved the strike action.
අංශයේ මේ ප්‍රතිකාර වලින් ඉවත් විය යුතුද කියන එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් යම් කතිකාවතක් දැන් නිර්මාණය වෙමින් තියෙනවා සියලුම ශේෂ්ත්‍රවල.
Secretary of the association, Dr. Mahinda Liyanage, said that while they disapprove such a strike action, measures will be taken to deploy the doctors and retired doctors in the association for services following discussions with the government. Meanwhile, Lanka Private Bus Owners Association pointed out that the proposed strike action is similar to a terrorist act.
State Finance Minister Ranjit Siambalapitia says that assurances extended through the International Monetary Fund are more important than the $2.9 billion financial assistance. The State Minister further said that the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank have agreed to provide the financial assistance to Sri Lanka under the assurances extended by the IMF. State Finance Minister Ranjit Siambalapitia said that the IMF will extend financial assistance under the 8 phases in 4 years. He said that the government expects the IMF to approve the financial assistance by the end of the month. He pointed out that the guarantee or the assurances extended by the IMF is the more important factor, even though the government requires the said amount. He added that the world's largest lending agency through the fund facility assures the entire world that Sri Lanka has regained the trust and others can place their confidence on the country. He said after gaining the approval of the fund facility from the IMF, the World Bank and the ADB will provide more financial assistance to the country. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara says that restructuring of the Ceylon Electricity Board will be initiated from next week.
In a tweet, the minister pointed out that the first step of this process will be withdrawal from collective agreements and reaching decisions on new policies required for financial control. The roadmap and timeline of the restructuring process of the Ceylon Electricity Board is expected to be submitted to the Cabinet, and the relevant draft bill will also be presented to the Parliament. Asian Development Bank, World Bank, USAID and JICA have agreed to extend support for the CEB's restructuring process. The minister has indicated that a special discussion in this regard was also held with the agencies. Accordingly, Minister Wijesekara has further indicated that agreements have been reached with relevant institutions for financial auditing, human resource auditing, asset auditing and formulation of legal provisions. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara says that the fuel prices are expected to be reduced following the price revisions scheduled in April.
The minister, while speaking at a public rally held in Minuangada today, said that the advantage gained from the fuel imports of the declining US dollar value will be provided to the public. The Minister Wijesekara said that the advantage gained from the US dollar depreciation and the rupee appreciation will be considered in the next fuel price revision in April. He said that the institution has to be restructured in order to reduce the electricity tariffs as well as the fuel prices. The Indian High Commissioner has said over that $10 million have been used under the Indian credit facility to print the relevant textbooks for this year. They said that close to half of the textbook requirements of the year has been facilitated under the credit facility.
India extended $1 billion worth of concessional credit facility to Sri Lanka in the face of the economic crisis. The relevant credit line was offered by the Indian government in last March for the supply of essential items including food, fuel, medicine and the supply of essential items, industrial raw material. The Indian High Commissioner has said that out of this facility, over $10 million has been used to procure printing paper and material from India. Accordingly, the funds have been used to print 45% of textbooks required by 4 million young students of Sri Lanka for this academic year, as per the statement issued by the Indian High Commissioner. Now, Foreign Minister Ali Sabri participate in the 22nd Commonwealth Foreign Affairs Ministers meeting at the Commonwealth headquarters in London on March 15th. The Foreign Minister will attend the Commonwealth Day celebrations tomorrow, which marks the 10th anniversary of signing the Commonwealth Charter.
The member states will also support the Commonwealth of Nations for Flag of Peace initiative in symbolizing the values of the Charter. The celebrations will conclude with this reception hosted by King Charles III to visit the foreign ministers. This year's meeting will engage in foreign ministers in discussing joint responses for shared challenges. On the sidelines of these events, Minister Sabri is set to call on the Secretary of State of Foreign and Commonwealth Development Affairs, James Cleverly, and the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Patricia Scotland, among other UK top ministers. Foreign Minister will also participate in an afternoon tea hosted by the Lord Nasby at the House of Commons and deliver remarks on Sri Lanka's relationships with UK. The Ministers of Foreign Affairs of Rwanda, who is also the Commonwealth Chair in office in Kenya, Pakistan and Malaysia, are expected to be having bilateral minister meetings with Minister Sabri during the visit.
Now, Sri Lanka is regaining its brand as one of the popular tourist destinations in the world. Accordingly, the tourism industry is seeing a boom once again in various sectors. One of the world's leading cruise ships, Princess Cruise, arrived in the country yesterday. The group of tourists who arrived in the ship is engaging in tours across various parts of the country at present. Accordingly, a group of tourists visited the Kadala tea factory in Pittigala, which is considered as one of the main low-country tea factories in the country. The visitors were able to witness the low-country tea production process at the factory. Chairman of the Athukorala group of companies, Andra Athukorala, who owns the factory, welcomed the group of tourists, and they were able to experience the taste of low-country tea during the visit. This visit not only promotes the tourism industry but also promotes the brand Ceylon tea across the world.
The Ministry of Agriculture says all preparations have been made to extend the same subsidy to tea and vegetable cultivations, which was provided for paddy farmers who had opted not to utilize the extended organic and compost fertilizer. Minister of Agriculture said during a recent meeting, agrarian organization representatives had informed that the extended organic fertilizer subsidiary and standard they opted not to utilize the relevant fertilizer for cultivation. The minister indicated that the recommendations of the Presidential Committee appointed to probe in this regard have been revealed that certain companies have supplied substandard organic and compost fertilizer for the farmers. Accordingly, the minister Amaravira has said that the fertilizer subsidiary extended for paddy farmers by the government will also be extended for tea and vegetable cultivation. The Agricultural Ministry statement has indicated that this minister has instructed all officials to allocate funds for tea and vegetable cultivations from the Maha season.
Now, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna is not feared by any election. He made these remarks while addressing the Monaragala district meeting. The Monaragala district meeting of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna was held with the participation of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. A large gathering including senior party members and partisans were present at this occasion.
Protests were organized in various parts of the country yesterday based on several demands, including electricity tariff hike and rising cost of living. A protest organized by the people was held in Vavuniya district last night expressing their displeasure over the increased electricity tariffs. Another demonstration was held in Halpitiya Kasbah area last night. The protest was organized by the National People's Power. A protest was held in Vatadeniya Udunur area over the electricity tariff hike. The National People's Power organized a protest at the Vakada Junction in Dankotua. Another protest was held in Devalagama Kagal yesterday, urging the authorities to reduce the cost of living and electricity tariffs. It was organized by the Frontline Socialist Party.
Now, a beach cleaning program was held today at Crow Island Beach in Mattakulia. It was held with the participation of Senior Advisor to the President on National Security and Chief of the Presidential Staff, Sagala Ratnayaka. The program also involves using machinery to remove the garbage from the affected coast. The program is jointly implemented by the Marine Environment Protection Authority, Department of Coast Conservation, Central Environmental Authority, Sri Lanka Navy and other state and non-state organizations. Expressing his views on this occasion, President Senior Advisor Sagala Ratnayaka said that Sri Lanka attracts tourists due to its beautiful beaches, environment and cultural heritage. Therefore, he emphasized that it is everyone's responsibility to contribute to the tourism industry by protecting the coast as well as protecting the environment for the next generation. He added that he intends to continue implementing this coastal conservation program in a sustainable manner and that he anticipates receiving support from non-governmental organizations and resource persons in doing so.
Recently, a virtual session was organized for foreign service officers in the Foreign Ministry and overseas missions. Ambassador of Sri Lanka in the USA, Mahinda Samarasinghe, virtually addressed the participants. The discussion was focused on political advocacy, lobbying, networking and internal team building to better achieve objectives. A large group of officials participated in the discussion. In the meantime, Sri Lankan Ambassador Samarasinghe also addressed the prestigious Cosmos Club in Washington, D.C. on the 75th anniversary of Sri Lanka-US relations recently. A program in sharing intelligence of the women to rebuild the future of Sri Lanka in celebration of the International Women's Day was held in Colombo yesterday.
The event was organized centering 8 women excelled in various sectors of the country. The program was titled as I Lead. The Next Gen SL affiliated agency to the Embassy of Germany in Colombo and Friedrich Naumann Foundation for Freedom organized the program. 8 women leading their respective industries and sectors took part in the event. These female figures were then given the opportunity to address the program under the theme how they would change the course of the country if they were given the leadership. Minister Bandula Gunawardena was present at the 3rd edition of the I Lead Women's Day celebration along with public representatives and women representing various sectors and industries.
China has agreed to extend the assistance of the Organic Product Standards Laboratory in Kantale area. The relevant project is currently underway with the mediation of the Industrial Technology Institute. A special discussion in this regard was held today at the Eastern Provincial Governor's Office in Trincomalee. Deputy Director General of Foreign Affairs of the office in Yunnan Province in China, Ma Su-shin, and the Eastern Provincial Governor Anuradha Yampat were present at the discussion. A decision was reached during the discussion to provide an international standard certification for the seed researchers carried out by the Organic Product Standard Laboratory. The relevant agreement was signed by the carried out between the Governor of Yunnan Province and the Eastern Provincial Governor. It is scheduled to be held in the month of May. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break.
Prima, cut to me, pantomime.
විස්සයි විසිතුන පාසැල් ක්‍රිකට් සමය උණුසුම් කරමින් දිගහැරෙන කාට්මන් කුසලාන මහා ක්‍රිකට් තරගයේ 127 වන ප්‍රයාම. ශාන්ත බෙනඩික්වරුන්ට එරෙහිව වෙස්ලිවරුන්ගේ බෙන්ස් වෙස්ලි මහා ක්‍රිකට් ගැටුම මාර්තු 17 වනදා සහ 18 වනදා කොළඹ සරවනමුත්තු ක්‍රීඩාංගණයේදී. සජීව විකාශය ක්‍රීඩාවේ ප්‍රමුඛයා channel I වෙතින් උදෑසන 9:30 සිට.
Welcome back on Foreign News. Mozambique is being lashed by rain, powerful winds and flooding as Cyclone Freddy makes landfall for the 2nd time in a month.
The country has received more than a year's worth of rainfall in the past 4 weeks. Freddy may become the longest lasting storm on record, having formed on the northwest of Australia in 34 days ago. One person is reported to have died, bringing the death toll to at least 28 since the storm first made landfall. People have been urged to move into temporary shelters. According to local disaster agencies, more than 500,000 people could be at the risk of a humanitarian crisis this time around. Mozambique authorities say that electricity has been turned off as a precaution by the power utility firm and all flights have been suspended. Mozambique's National Disaster Management Agency estimates more than 1.5 million people have been affected since the storm first hit last month, with more than 8,000 forced from their homes.
Now, all eyes India will be on Oscar ceremony as Natu Natu vies to win Best Original Song at the prestigious award show. A track from Telugu blockbuster RRR, short for Rise, Roar, Revolt, Natu Natu is the first Indian film song to be nominated for an Oscar. Its singers are also slated to perform at the Academy Awards, which will be aired tomorrow morning in India. The song became a global sensation, inspiring endless Instagram reels and dance trends on social media after the film's release in the United States last year. Its quick tempo and synchronized choreography culminated into an instant hit among the audiences. Composed by M.M. Kirani, With lyrics penned by Chandra Bose, Natu Natu already made history once in January when it won the Golden Globe for Best Original Song, defeating contendants like Rihanna, Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga. The same month, the song also won the Critics' Choice Award for the Best Song. Its composers are now hoping to repeat their success at the Oscars. The historical fantasy featuring superstars Ram Chandran and Junior NTR in lead roles, RRR tells the fictional story of two revolutionaries who fight against British rule in India. Rajamouli has said that he even envisioned Natu Natu as a fight scene in which two freedom fighters brings the British officer to his knees through dance. Nearly a year after its release, the song is still going strong with the audiences, and with an Oscar nomination and a performance at the award ceremony in Tokyo, the excitement is at all-time high.
The Hong Kong Flower Show has added luster to Victoria Park, amassing around 400,000 flower plants from 10 countries and regions to diffuse the aroma and display a diverse charm. Featuring hydrangeas and theme flower, the flower show
Kami Pantamay.
Now, New Zealand requires only 257 runs to secure a win at the first test against Sri Lanka. At the end of the fourth day, New Zealand was 28 runs for the loss of 1 wicket in their second innings. The match is currently underway in Christchurch.
At the beginning of the fourth day, Sri Lanka had posted 150 runs for the loss of 4 wickets. Angelo Matthews scored 115 runs, securing his 14th century, while Dinesh Chandimal scored 42. Dhananjay De Silva was not out at 47. Accordingly, Sri Lanka posted 302 runs for their second innings, giving a target of 285 runs for New Zealand. At the end of the fourth day, New Zealand scored 28 runs for the loss of 1 wicket. Tomorrow is the decisive day of the match.
Now, 4 Sri Lankan female cricket umpires who have been promoted to the official umpires panel of the ICC were facilitated in the Sri Lanka cricket premises.
The new Sri Lankan ICC women's umpires are Vanessa De Silva, Michelle Pereira, Dedunu De Silva and Nimali Pereira. Vanessa De Silva and Michelle Pereira have already been acting as the board of referees of the ICC. Dedunu De Silva and Nimali Pereira have been included in the development umpires panel of the ICC. Secretary of Sri Lanka Cricket Mohan De Silva and CEO Ashley De Silva and some officials were present at this occasion.
Being a part of the ICC International Panel and working with professionals is giving me a huge boost. To do the final was a very special moment in my cricketing career. Working with Sri Lanka cricket and also coming to this level has been a great achievement. So I would like to encourage ladies to take up the sport and also to take into once you finish cricket, to take up umpiring, match refereeing, any type of assignment you look at, anything that you want to do can be done.
My playing career was not that long because with studies I chose a path where I need to make a career out of something else. I went for studies overseas, but my love for cricket never changed, so I always had the love for cricket. So that way I somehow got an opportunity at the Sri Lanka Cricket Board to be a match referee. So with that small step, slowly it came up to the ICC level. So there was a lot of push from the Sri Lanka Cricket Board for us to get into the international panel for ICC for match referees. and I was so honored to be a part this time representing the board at the T20 Women's World Cup in South Africa.
Prima Katumi Pantamai.
And that's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the very latest on Channel Eye. I'm Delanjali.